Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Dona Sarkar.
I'm Dan Wahlin.
And the two of us are running around the world right now, not right now because we're in studio, and we're helping Microsoft customers learn to use the Microsoft Copilots across their products to run their businesses better and live like slightly more joyous work lives.
Yeah. Be more productive, enjoy it more.
Exactly. Right now, we're doing a series on prompting because, as you know, prompting a Copilot is a whole art and a science. And while we were on adoption.microsoft.com/Copilot, which is a fantastic resource, by the way, and you should check it out, we found this really, really cool formula that we want to share with you today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So here's an example of a prompt that you might use in Word or Outlook or something like that. Really any Copilot, actually. But it says, generate 3 to 5 bullet points to prepare me for a meeting with some client to discuss their phase 3 branding campaign, focus on email and Teams chats, and please use simple language. Now, this is actually a really good example, Donna, because there's 4 areas, right, that this breaks down to. First off, what's the goal of this?
Right.
Well, it has generate 3 to 5 bullet points.
Perfect.
Okay. Next phase is what's the context?
Right.
Well, who are we meeting with? It looks like client X to discuss their phase 3 branding. But then in addition to that, there might be a little bit more you want to add when it comes to what's the source of some of this information.
Right.
So notice we want to focus on email and Teams chats, and even since June.
Yes.
So we're kind of giving it a filter, if you will.
Yes.
And then the last thing, please use simple language, is what are the expectations we want to tell the LLM, the large language model, to do?
I love it because this is the kind of thing you can use for all of the Microsoft Copilots, as you'll see in this series. Stay tuned. Hello, and welcome to this fun little series we're doing where we work with all of you to show all of the things that Microsoft Copilot can do. I'm Dona Sarkar. I work here at Microsoft helping customers all over the world use Microsoft's AI products, which are called Copilots, in their own business to do their jobs better, live their lives better, et cetera, all the good stuff. And my wonderful friend joining me from Germany is...
Hi, I'm Sandra Ahlgrimm. I'm a Java developer and I use Copilot now every day and I can't wait to show you how I use it.
I'm excited for those cases. Right, so do it with us. Go to copilot.microsoft.com. We'll wait, go ahead. Trust us, you're gonna wanna follow along because you'll learn things the way we learn things while doing this. So once you're there, if you're a Microsoft Enterprise customer, go ahead and go over to your sign-in name and switch into work or school mode. You can use either mode, but if you're doing this for a work or school activity, you'll wanna go into this mode where your data is protected. This means that your data does not leave your company. This also means that we don't save your prompts. So if you run across a prompt you really, really like, please save it in a OneNote, an Excel, or whatever, however you want to save it, because we found ourselves reusing the same prompts over and over again. And by design, we don't save any of your data. Okay, so one of the issues that we've been learning about, not issues, but opportunities, is that every company in the world needs to get skilled up in AI, right?
Yes.
Including ours.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Totally.
And we need to skill up pretty much every single employee in the company so they learn how to use the AI products to do their own jobs. Now, we've got a problem about that though, right?
Yeah. Like in Germany, we are using Copilot so much, but the knowledge is like fair enough, but we can definitely do something about it here. So why don't we do a program for it?
I think that's a good idea because if we create a program here, then we can use it in every company all over the world even. Right?
Sure.
Okay, so let's do create me a 10-week skilling program for AI for a large enterprise, let's say.
A software enterprise, maybe?
That's true.
For developers?
We do make software that makes software.
Okay. Let's see. I've never created such a program.
So I chose balanced mode, which is the default mode, because with balanced mode, there's some opportunities, right? When you say precise mode, it's like precise, summarize this document exactly. Creative mode, it's brainstorm all these new ideas. Balanced was we want somewhere in the middle, where I want a little bit of creativity, but I also want a 10-week program that teaches AI. Oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Look at this. It's generating some things. So it's saying, here's a program, intro to AI machine learning, data preparation and processing, supervised learning. Oh boy, okay, natural language, advanced topics.
Wait, that really does make sense.
Yeah.
I wish I have had that when I was learning all this.
That's exactly it. Okay, so there's 10 weeks. Do you think we can teach this ourselves?
Well, we are the experts here, but I guess our management would like to know why we would want to teach us ourselves, or maybe we could also hire someone to do it.
Okay, so how about we do like pros and cons. What are some pros and cons to doing this ourselves versus hiring a training company? So I'm actually quite curious about this because I would always think hiring a training company would be better because we don't necessarily know how to train people. But in this case, we actually are the experts of this topic. But do we know how to train everyone in the company, like people in finance, people in HR? I don't know.
Do we have the resources?
That's right. Oh, look at this. Doing it in-house, pros, customization, true, cost, yes, control, employee engagement, correct. Cons, expertise gap. This is hard to read. Okay, I am dyslexic, so I'm gonna put this into a table. And this might help some of you who are able to process information in a more organized way. So you can put almost any chunk of words into a table, and it helps just like solidify into a pro-con table. I think this is easier to read. What do you think?
Yeah, it's so much better. I have it in one side, so I can totally see that.
Yeah, so now we've taken this thing, we've asked a question, created a program. We have gotten both sides of the story, right? Is it pros, is it cons? And now we put into a table. So after looking at this, I kind of want to do this ourselves, right?
Me too.
It sounds fun, right?
I can't believe how fast that was. I mean, imagine we would have to come up with this. I mean, it would have taken us hours in meetings to get so.
Well, first of all, we'd have to research 12 things, which I don't want to do. So we can go find some training companies, but actually I kind of want to do it myself. So let's do this. I want to do this ourselves. Let's draft an email to the tech forward CEO, because they're quite tech forward. We want to greenlight the project. To the cost conscious CFO, we pretty much will need $5,000 because compute, right?
Yeah, that's always something.
It's going to be compute. And then the CTO asking for time to actually do this. So let's reference this table. That way they understand why we're asking to do it and we're not just being random. So let's go ahead and ask this. Oh, look at this. Hope this email finds you well. So I guess I would never start something as I hope this email finds you well. So what I would do is just redo that first word. But overall, this sounds pretty legit. Oh, action items.
I think you could even ask it to redo the greeting.
Yeah, I could even say redo the greeting in the style of your slightly goofy friend. Maybe I wouldn't say that to an email to our CEO, but okay, cool. This is cool. I like this. But I think we're pretty much on track. While we're kind of waiting for this,
as a developer, creating those emails always took me so long.
Right.
It's just so different from the usual work I'm doing. I'm creating emails like this all the time now. It saves me so much time and energy.
So much time. So one of the interesting challenges that Sandra and I are going to have once we take on this project is that we're going to have to create a ton of content to actually do this 10-week training program. One of the main Copilots that we like a lot is the Microsoft 365 Copilot, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And our colleague Dan's going to show us some in a future episode. But first, we actually want to explain kind of how this works, because it really is taking your data from the graph, your prompt, bringing them together, giving you results. So instead of us trying to explain it, we've got this fantastic video that the team made, and I'm going to use the Copilot in Edge. So it's the same Microsoft Copilot that you're now used to. Make sure you click on web and not work if you've got the Microsoft 365 Copilot. And I'm going to choose more precise mode, because when I'm summarizing something, I want to be precise. I don't need creativity. So in context, I'm going to say, create 5 bullets. Is that how you spell bullets? Yes. About this video. And now it has context of what it's seeing. Now you can do this for videos. You can do this for PDFs. You can do this for websites. Anything that's in context of a window. So you can pull out that Copilot in Edge and ask for summaries. You can ask to generate a social media post. You can do lots of things, but this is one of those powerful AI things that I just don't think enough people know about.
I mean, of course it works for text, right? So AI scans the text and then it's there, but I didn't really know that it was actually also being able to to reference videos here. I mean, is it now watching the video behind the scenes? I mean,
it's pretty
come
cool.
on, that's
it's able
so
to
cool.
grab the metadata and generate this right here. Here you go. You're like, here are 5 bullet points about the video, explains the Copilot system, uses 3 foundational techniques, starts with the prompt, sends the grounded prompt to the LLM, and post-processes the response by adding more grounding. Perfect. Now we can just copy and paste this directly into our training and look like heroes.
Oh, wow. In no time.
I love it. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for the next episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. In our previous episode, we showed you how to use Microsoft Copilot to just do basic job stuff, right? Documents, research, etc. But Sandra pointed out, actually, it's a really good tool for devs, and she uses it all the time. So I said, okay, you sit down next to me and show me things.
Yeah. Thank you, Donna, for having me. And so I use Copilot all the time, every day, and I'm so excited to show you how I do it because it makes my life so much more efficient and I can get things done so quickly, right? You know what? Actually, before we dive into the topic too much, I'm a bit depressed because Dan was just mocking me about RAG and that, there is LangChain for Python and JavaScript, but he's not sure if it's there for Java.
Is there LangChain for Java? This is the question. I do not know the answer. This is a job for Copilot, yes?
Totally. Let's go for it.
I see you're asking precise mode because we need a precise answer to prove Dan wrong.
Yeah.
You can't have
I can't go with made up stuff.
No.
If someone is making a statement, you have to be
a strong
right.
statement.
Yes.
Let's see what we get.
Yes.
What do we bet? Bets. Is there LangChain for Java or yes or no? I'm going to go with, wait, there is? Oh.
Yeah, it says yes. There is a community version.
Community
for
version. Okay.
LangChain for Java. Okay. It even gives me the GitHub repository.
Okay.
So that's so cool.
All right.
So yes, there is.
That is the right one. Oh.
So great.
I did not know this information until right now. So for all of you wondering, there is indeed LangChain for Java along with LangChain for JavaScript and for Python. Is there for C++? That's a different episode. So what else you got?
I mean, it's also used by so many people and so many contributors. And here's just one, Julian. I think I remember he talked about it. Yeah, it's my manager. He just said recently that he added image generation towards it.
Oh.
So,
really?
And he was
got a funny image generation situation going on in your life right now.
Yeah. So the thing is, we just moved into our new house and I was all up for all wooden, nice, warm wooden floors, right? And my husband was like, oh no, but not for the bathroom and the kitchen because it needs to be there forever.
And they have 2 tiny children.
Yeah, that's not helpful as well. But I guess I would be enough drama to say we need tiles on the bathroom floor and in the kitchen as well. So we compromised, right? That's what marriage is about. That's what life is for. So now we have wooden optic tiles, which would be great because it looks almost like the nature, almost.
So they're tiles that look like wood, but they're tiles. Okay, yes. I got you. Okay.
And unfortunately, it's only almost realistic because I have the exact same 2 in my kitchen. And every morning I have my first cup of coffee. I see those 2 and I'm like, damn it. Then you can spot it directly. It's not nature. It's fake. It's printed. That's how the wooden designs are made on tiles. And I wish so badly they would have had Copilot at that time because, they would have just generated so many images. And as you are aware, it's not deterministic. So every time I ask Copilot to generate a new image, it will turn out differently.
Right.
So that would have been a thing. And as a Java dev, of course, I want to have it in code. And my manager was like, well, here, I did it. Here, Julian, here's the code snippet. So there you go. And I'm like, okay, wow, cool.
Okay, so I have a question. How many of you love receiving other people's code? Nope. Said no dev ever, right? I think my code is okay, but at least I know what it is. When I get someone else's code, even you, Julian, and I like Julian, I think he's a dang good coder. I never know what it says. Right?
Yeah.
Figuring out what it means is kind of a hassle. What are we going to do?
Yeah, totally. So I could just ask it, please explain this code. But, English is not my first language. I'm a not native speaker. So especially when I'm tired during the evenings or in the mornings also, then I would really like it to just give me the answer in German. So why do I try this? So I would just say, erklär diesen Code, which means explain this code and see what it does, right?
Oh, wow. Okay, this is an interesting scenario. Explain this code to me in German. You asked in German. You should get a German response back.
Kind of. I didn't even prompt it in English. I was just say, erkläre diesen Code, so explain it in...
Okay, this is cool because the code is in English. I mean, it's in Java. It's in English. You prompt it in German and you're getting a German answer back.
Yeah, so if you change the language by prompting, you will get the answer in the exact same language.
Is this a right answer? I, of course, cannot tell.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is actually very accurate. So it's exactly what I would have looked for.
Okay,
so it's very, very good.
Let's talk about the topic of expertise now. I believe it's important to use Copilot in scenarios where you actually have expertise, because that way you're able to say whether the AI-generated response is correct or not. Me generating things in German would make absolutely no sense, because I have no idea whether the Java's right or the German's right. Probably in this case, both would be wrong, right? But because Sandra's an expert in both Java and German, she's able to say this is a good answer.
Yeah, that's true. So now Julian handed me over this code, and he was like, "Yeah, can you just do the rest of it to make it a real PR?" And to have a pull request, we would have to add some test cases.
That's right. That's right.
So, and as I told, I'm already tired. So why don't I have Copilot? Why don't I have Copilot to do this for me?
Right. This seems like a very good job for Copilot.
Manage test for this. So let's see if it still has the code in it, or if I had to re-paste.
Oh, you got a basic unit test.
Okay, that's something.
Look at that.
Okay.
This is very useful for a lot of people don't always know how to write like an accessibility test, making sure it's screen reader capable, contrast, etc.
Yeah.
This is a very good hack for that. Like generate me 10 accessibility test cases for this chunk of code. That's very cool.
Yeah, so it actually also says that this one is just a very basic unit test. So if I need more, I can just click like, can you give me an example of mocking in Java? Or I could probably also have said, please generate like for all test scenarios.
Yeah, I love this.
Me too, right?
This is a cool little hack. I didn't know about this.
So this one is going now a bit off topic and explains me how to do mocking, which is not bad, but as I said, I'm not in the mood to learn something here. I'm tired and I just want to get things done, right? So why don't I click on stop responding and say like, please generate test cases for all test scenarios. And I will just give it the code again just as a reminder. Because the more precise you are with your prompts, the more accurate the answer will be, right?
That's right?
So that's what we learned as well.
Oh, okay.
So now I will not only get the JUnit test, but also the mock test cases, which is potentially very good. So at least a great starting point. And then I can just copy those code, put it into my IDE, and then I can go off there with Copilot Chat, for instance. But this one's just free. I have it. I can just use it in my browser, which is very cool. So imagine I'm fine with my test case. Everything is running. Next step would be the deployment, maybe?
I think let's talk about deployment. Yeah.
So, okay, so I will ask it like, let's say, how do I deploy this to Azure?
Like container apps?
Yeah, container apps.
Yeah, container apps. Let's do that.
Yeah, sure. Why not? That's the first thing I would do as a dev. I choose the most basic thing, cheap, only use what you need.
Yeah, like get this code written, deploy to like the smallest possible app, deploy to whoever needs it, call it.
Yeah.
Especially send it to your tile people. We're like, I'm going to help you out. Go do this.
So as a Java dev, so it says I need to create a container image for my app, and then I can push the image to the registry and create the container app. Okay, great. It also gives me tutorials. So again, a lot of things I would have to do by myself. So I could, go on here and just copy probably the POM XML, because that's usually what's needed. I know that if I want to create my own Docker file. So why don't I say, please create a container image or Docker file for this project. So now I should know that this is a POM XML. So obviously I'm using Maven. And here's everything specified what I need in my app to be run. So I guess the Docker file should be probably basic, but still good. Good starting point.
This is great.
So it's not the best Docker file. Just to be clear, I won't lose my job. But it will be totally enough.
Happily employed to give her a start.
It will totally be enough as a starting point, and I will totally be able to just run this, containerize it, and then I can just drag and drop my Docker image even towards the cloud, so deploy it in Azure Container Apps.
What I liked about this whole series right now, this episode, is that you showed that Copilot's actually quite useful as a dev Copilot, right? To help you do specific tasks that are kind of annoying. It gets the first part out of the way.
Yeah.
So you can apply your brilliant brain to solving the rest of the problem in the way it needs to be solved.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so now it gives me the Docker file, for instance, and I have some doubts about Java 8 and Docker files. So I could also ask like, hey, what do I need to make it more best practice for Java on container? Maybe I do that as the last one.
Oh, it's going. Look at it.
Best practices. Okay. So let's see what it comes up with. If I even get a better Docker file, that would be so cool. Yeah. I can't get how easy it was for them to explain the whole code in German.
That was pretty cool.
It was so fast.
I wouldn't know if it's good explanation, but our German friend thinks it was. Therefore, it must be extremely good.
And you know what? I also just discovered recently, so I can also go onto this repository here, and if I'm not aware what's inside, I don't have to clone the whole thing and just deep dive into it. I could also just use the Edge thing here, the Copilot in Edge, and ask it questions.
I love that. And this way you don't have to clone all your repos.
No.
Just have the list.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like previously, I could have opened it in code spaces as well on GitHub, but then, I would have needed the license for it, first of all. And then, it would also cost some data, like some cores in a data center. And I want to operate as green as possible. Right. So this one's just perfect.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
What did your Copilot say finally?
So here, this one says separate configuration from code. Automate all menus. So it's a bit more best practice for Java in the cloud anyway. So so that was the main thing. I wanted to see that it's not good. Like Java 8, you need to have at least this version, or preferably newer version. Yeah, it's like one of the things I wanted to see. So it has that.
Yes.
But then obviously I still will be employed. It's not everything, but it's a very, very good start.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming and showing me all of the dev tricks and hacks for the Microsoft Copilot. We will see you next time. All right, everyone, we are back with our Prompting Microsoft Copilot series. Now, Sandra had to fly off to Germany and, do her actual job, but I found Dan wandering the hallways, snagged him, and pulled him into our Enterprise AI Skilling Program. Now, Dan, you are a very organized person. And a word on the street is you brought along a new Copilot to introduce to our friends.
Yeah, we're going to go through a whole scenario.
Really?
Right?
Okay, please, by all means, tell us.
So I know you've already been through with Sandra this concept of, well, what if I want to build like a program on Copilots, for example?
Right.
But let's kind of continue that theme and talk about what if our scenario is I'm a business leader. Let's say I'm somewhat technical, but I actually want to do something with generative AI. And I want to get our company skilled up on that. And what we're going to do is talk through different tools we could use, different Copilots. We're going to start with Microsoft Copilot, but we're going to kind of expand our horizons.
I love it. Let's go.
All right. So the first thing we're going to do is let's assume that, again, you're a business leader and you really want to get your folks skilled up on generative AI and some of the technologies involved. There's embeddings and the vectors and tokens, and the list goes on and on and on. So I'm going to start with Microsoft Copilot, right? And you've already done some great demos on that, but we'll do the same type of thing. And what I'm going to do here is just put a prompt in. This one's a little longer, so instead of boring you with me typing, we're going to do this. But I want to identify and list the top 5 most impactful generative AI technologies for a technical organization to learn and adopt. Now, you'll notice from the prompt standpoint, we're being very clear about what is the goal.
Right.
All right. Then think in terms of foundational topics, and I give a couple examples. So now we're setting a little more context. And then I'm saying how to output the results as bullet points.
I love it.
So we're just being a little more specific. So let's go ahead and run this, and we'll see what we get here.
I like how you did that, where you said, here's the problem, here's the context, here's an example, and here's the way I want it output.
Exactly. And you know as well as I do that a lot of times I'll get something and be like, that's not quite what I was hoping for. So you change it up, right? And you play with it.
Right.
It's a learning. So, all right. So LLMs, embeddings, tokens, sequence-to-sequence models, attention is a really big part behind the scenes of LLMs. So, okay. I mean, good enough. Sounds like a good start.
Pretty good. Yeah. And I like these references down there at the bottom so you can see where these answers came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
So let's take this or these 5 things, and let's say that I look through this and go, okay, that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and just copy that real quick. But, what do you usually do as a manager? What other tools might you use?
Oh, gosh. I live in Word and PowerPoint, right? Because, the other day, our boss said, hey, can you write a strategy doc for this project you all are doing? And I said, What is that? So I promptly went to Word Copilot to write a strategy doc.
Did it work?
It worked really well, actually. I got a 7-page strategy doc with like 3 bullet points.
Which I've actually seen the doc. She's telling the truth here. So so let's take this and let's switch over to Word.
Oh, okay.
And, how many of you have had the blank canvas syndrome where you're just like, it's the hardest thing. It's just, I want to get started, but I don't know where to start, I used to do a ton of writing, and that was always the hardest thing.
Yes.
So what we could do is the first time you open up Word, and if you have Copilot for Microsoft 365, to be clear, we're now going to switch Copilots here. You'll actually get a little dialogue pops up, but you'll notice I have this little icon. I'm going to click it, and then let me zoom this just a tad so you can get an idea. But describe what you'd like to get out of this. You can even reference another document if you want.
Oh, I like that.
What I'm going to do is just paste these in, but I'm going to add another prompt right up top here because this is just what we're after, right? We need a little more context around what do you want to do. So let me go ahead and grab a prompt that we're going to put in here now. All right, so let's put this in, Donna. And we'll kind of read through it real quick. So based on a list of AI technologies provided, create a comprehensive document detailing recommendations for creating a custom training course, similar to what you did.
I love this because this is more specific on a technical audience.
Yeah.
Right? This is something we would use to train maybe IT folk or dev folk in the company versus finance, legal, HR operations would be a different kind of training.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that. Yeah.
Now, what are you going to get out of this? We'll see.
Right.
Because it is, it's non-deterministic, meaning that it can differ from time to time. But let's go ahead and generate here. And I'll zoom back out and let's see what we get. And hopefully we will actually get a kind of structure, a skeleton, if you will, that would let us then make edits. And, I'll have to be honest, I've never done this once where I say, that's exactly what I wanted. I don't have to change a single thing.
Right.
That's just not how it works.
Oh.
But
you seem to be having a good start. Look at this.
We now are starting to get a skeleton. And again, if you're in that blank page, now you don't have a blank page. You have something to build upon, which for me at least is much easier to work with.
You know what's a weird hacky thing that both of us do is when we're having a meeting, we just take notes on the side in the Teams chat. Now we can just grab that chat and throw it in a document and say, start with this.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, that's right. I like that a lot.
It makes it much easier to have that springboard, if you will, instead of me having to start from just blank canvas.
Right.
And for me, and I'm sure a lot of folks are like this, if I have that just initial spark of information to kick off the process, I'm pretty good at going from there. But sometimes you're just sitting there, racking your brain going,
how do I start? Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
So this might take a bit. We'll let it run. I actually have a document. We're going to move on here. But I have one kind of behind the scenes.
How long is this document? Quickly scroll. I'd
right
love to
now, Looks like we're at 2 pages.
Oh, wow.
One and a
Okay.
half.
I love watching machines do work for me, right? Yes, please write a 2-page
Yeah.
document for me while I talk to Dan about our program. I love it.
Exactly.
This is fantastic. I love
And
it.
if nothing else, Donna, this is a great time to say, I'm going to go get some coffee.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And if anyone
Yes.
complains, you'll be like, hey, I'm compiling.
I'm doing work. I'm compiling. Hello, I'm writing a document.
Yeah, exactly.
Look
So
at
there
this.
you go. It's breaking it
Yeah.
all up. And
It's actually quite detailed on
It is.
what we would teach. It's teaching like word embeddings and all of these things.
yeah, I mean, if you read through it, it provides a really nice starting point.
Yeah.
Now, am
and
I
it's sticking
again?
with the formula you gave it, the outline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That's cool.
Now, again, I'm not going to use it exactly as is
No.
ever, but I can now go in. It's much easier to delete things than
Right.
it is to do
Add
others.
things or make up from scratch.
And I can highlight sections and enhance those
Yeah.
and those. So anyway, this is still going. Apparently, it's going to write a novel for us, I guess.
I love novels.
We're at 2.5 pages now.
Okay,
But let's
so-
go ahead and move on.
We're going to have to now present this to our upper management village elder types. And they're not going to want to read a document, right? So what are we going to do?
So yeah, let's take a document like this and let's actually move over to PowerPoint
Oh, okay.
and let's see what we could do.
Okay.
there. And to do that, again, I'm back to a blank canvas.
I hate this. I don't like blank presentations. This I can't even deal with. I can almost deal with Word, but blank PowerPoint, no.
My problem is I got to pick the theme. I got
Yes.
to pick the,
I don't like anything about it.
what fonts do I want? And
Yeah.
so what we can do again is hit Copilot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to notice a few options right up top here. So we have create a presentation from file, add a slide about. You can even work with existing presentations. Really, really nice. So if I do create presentation from file, it'll actually let me pick from some files, but I'm just going to say I have one in my clipboard here,
Oh, can you do that?
and I'm going to paste that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you click on it, it will actually pop up some documents, but it won't
Okay, yeah.
always
It
be the
won't get-
documents
It won't
you
get
want.
all of the documents.
Right.
But this one, you know which one you want because you've got a OneDrive link.
This one, through the magic of a demo,
Okay.
I can do that.
I like it.
So let's try this. And what this should do is now go out to that doc, scan the agenda, and then try to figure out some slides.
Make your presentation.
Yeah. And I know you recently gave a presentation, maybe as early as yesterday.
Yes.
And while we're waiting on here, you kind of did a similar thing, right?
I did. So what I did was I said, take these notes from a meeting and then put them into make a blank presentation. So I was having a meeting with our boss and a bunch of other people, and they said, oh, we should make a set of slides for this follow-up meeting we're going to have, meeting for meeting. So I, of course, took the meeting notes, put them into this prompt box, and then generated a set of slides from it. And suddenly I had slides in 5 minutes, and everyone's like, how? And I said, Copilot. Yeah.
This. And you can see it's actually generating the outline right now,
okay.
and it's about halfway done.
Yep.
52%. Okay, now it's really cruising.
Very good.
So we'll see what it does. And to be honest, it's kind of fun because it's a little bit of a surprise.
Yes.
What you're going to get.
That's right. That's right.
So if you don't like it, you can run it again.
Right.
But of course, you can always go in and change the themes.
Regenerate.
And do all those type of things. So it even marked the sensitivity as just general.
Oh, that's
Because
nice. Oh, look,
apparently
you've got slides.
And there we go. And this looks completely different than another one I did.
Okay, what I like is the theme is consistent, though.
Yeah, across all
That's
this.
cool. I like this more because sometimes it's hard to find a theme that looks kind of good.
Yeah, yeah. That's always my number one downfall is I'm picky and then I spend too much time on that.
But okay, I like how it actually generated you a lot of slides, not just 5.
Yeah.
Because you had that complete doc. That makes sense. Okay. Now I have a much better idea of how to use this, which is upload a document with the outline properly
And
into
details.
a PowerPoint. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
This
now
is a much
what it
nicer
generates.
presentation than I get. Yeah.
No, this is good. And you know,
Yeah.
you may look at the theme and go, no, I don't like that.
No, I like
that's
that
fine,
theme.
but I like the colors.
Yeah.
It did. I'm like, ship it.
I've never met a color I didn't like. I love this theme. This is a great theme. Yeah.
But what's so good, I mean, again, you're not going to look at this and go, yeah, every slide is perfect. But it gives me a great start.
Great start. I'd rather modify slides than make slides.
Exactly.
I love it. This is great. Okay, what else you got? Now I learned so many things.
So let's assume we did this.
Okay.
You and I, we gave this presentation to upper management,
Yes.
and they said, this looks
we
great.
love it.
Yeah, let's do it. And we actually shipped a program.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
we're fast forwarding
Yeah.
quite a bit here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move over to Excel, and let's assume that we had something like this. So we have employee name and department, role IDs.
Yes.
What's your pre-training knowledge level?
Yes.
What courses did you take? How many hours? But the important things are like, what was your training progress?
Yes.
What were your post-training test scores?
I see your corporate training background coming out, Dan. This is
Well, you got to know if you succeeded or not.
That's right. That's right. You're able to say like, what level were you at before? What level are you at after? That's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now on these, I have several prompts we're going to try. So I'm actually just going to jump over to another screen here real quick to grab those because you all don't want to see me type, I promise you. But you'll notice Copilot. Boom, right there. And before I jump over and do the very specific prompts that I want to try here, you'll notice I have some previous stuff up here, like what was the average cost of training per employee? And there was just one little question I asked. And we got back, I don't know, $567 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently this was a pretty affordable training program.
Apparently, yeah.
But what I'd like to do now is there are some things in here that might be kind of cool to maybe we want to add some color. Like if it's under a certain percentage, maybe it's red. If it's over, it's green.
Yes.
Like you do with financials almost.
Right. Because this is going to be good for a follow-up report to the upper management teams.
Yeah. So let me jump on over. And for this one, what I'm going to do is we have all this kind of broken out. But what I'd like to do is this. For the training progress column, okay, and we just looked at that.
Yeah.
Color items lower than 50% red and above 50% green.
Okay.
Now, are you an Excel guru?
Absolutely not. My gosh, no.
I am not either.
No.
I am one of those, like everyone, I am really good at looking up videos or tutorials or whatever, and then I figure it out.
Yes.
So I'm jealous of all you Excel gurus
You're
out there.
just-in-time Excel.
Yeah, they're like, I could just type this. Well,
I cannot.
I am happy for you. I am not at that level.
No.
So let's paste this in. And let's go ahead and run this particular one. Now, notice I'm saying for the training progress column, which is this column right here, we basically want to colorize it based upon, those ranges.
Yes.
So we'll let this run. It says almost there. So we're close. And what it's going to do behind the scenes is it's actually very smart. It doesn't hard code things in the vast, and there we go.
Look at this.
Pretty cool, huh?
Look at me pointing dramatically. This is great. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then what they've done here is, and then it says done, I made the following changes, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to some things that involve like calculations, it's very smart about those. Now this one, I think it just colorized them.
Yes.
But there are other things it can do where it'll actually put in like a calculation you can do. Now let's go look at some others here.
I like that.
So how about a pivot table? How are you at your pivot table?
I am so bad at pivot tables. They're so valuable, but my gosh, being able to make one from scratch correctly.
Exactly.
Just finding the right data to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. It's one of those things I call up a buddy that knows.
Who knows things.
tables.
My friends in finance and say, please help.
So let's try this one. So I'll read it here. Create a pivot table that uses the course ID, okay, because we want to know how these courses are going. Post-training scores and number of project applied post-training. Like how many projects have you actually done based on this training?
Correct.
So this training is all about like, was it good? Was it not? Those type of things. So let me run this. And what this should do is actually take those columns. It'll do the grouping and all that stuff you would do with a pivot table. And then give us the option to actually add it to a different sheet.
Oh, that's nice.
Pretty nice.
Without you having to figure that out. Which is great. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's analyzing our data. We'll let it do its thing here. There we go. Now I can already see, we'll put this in so everybody can see it, but I can already see like, I probably want some rounding and things like that. But hey, so I'm going to say add to new sheet. And there we go. Now let me see if I can zoom that. There we go.
Look at your fancy pivot table, Dan.
So look at that. It has our course breakdown.
I'm so proud of us for doing all this without actually having to figure out how to do it.
Without knowing what we're doing.
Right. Yes.
So we have our post-training test scores. And again, we can also, on this one, so one thing to mention with Copilot in Excel is that it does need to work on tables. Not just a spreadsheet, but a table. So
you make a table to do stuff.
That's right.
I got you.
So what I have in the first sheet is actually a table.
Okay.
And then
so
it can
pro
go.
tip, put your data in, make it into a table, then reason over it and do stuff.
Exactly.
Okay. Got it.
Now you'll notice over the right, now I could do my normal Excel things
Yeah.
with my pivot table
Yes.
fields, and
Yes.
I wouldn't even know how to pull that up, to be honest,
Nope.
without looking it up.
Nope.
So it did that.
I love it.
Now,
This, I think, is the most useful Copilot for people like us who are Excel dangerous, right? Where we know Excel's a thing, we vaguely know how to use it, but we don't know how to use it well.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, Excel still runs the planet, I think.
Right.
And so I should be better at it.
Right. But we don't have time because we're devs.
This is not where I spend my time.
Right. Exactly.
Now, last one I want to show real quick is what if you want a chart based on that data?
Okay.
Okay, so let's run that one. And this should do the same type of thing, but now it's actually going to be a chart, which may or may not make sense based on this data, I admit, but at least you can see
It's
the
a fun
idea.
visualization for some exec report to jam into that PowerPoint.
Well, and if you're an expert at this, it's just that much faster to get this started.
Right.
And then you can tweak it, use all your expertise.
Yes. Okay.
So it's still analyzing the data, which takes a little bit of time. I think there's maybe 100 rows is all. It's not a super big one. There we go.
Oh, you got a good chart actually.
Little chart. Once it's done, I can add it to a sheet.
Yeah.
And it's done. So let's add it
to a sheet.
And let's zoom it. And we'll scroll over.
Where is it? Oh, this is a chart I would jam into a PowerPoint and wave our hands around and say, look how good the program is.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
cool.
like that. That's really cool, Dan. I love this.
Yeah, thanks you for your Excel expertise and be able to type
you're
text.
welcome. Between you, me, and Copilot, we can make this look pretty legit.
That's right.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, what else you got? Show me another.
One last thing.
Okay.
One last thing we're going to do is, all right, let's say you have the spreadsheet and this data may be coming in from, an API call, a database, whatever. But you would like to automate updating parts of this based on maybe an API call or something like
Real-time data.
Yeah, real-time data.
Yes.
So I know you've done a lot with Power.
Yes.
In general.
Less code, more power.
That's right. And Power Automate.
Yes.
Would
Power
be awesome.
Automate is a magical tool.
So let's look at that. All right, Donna. So I'm in Power Automate here, and notice they give me some suggestions.
I love that.
When an item is created,
Yeah.
create new items in a SharePoint list, all kinds of fun stuff you can do. Now, I'm not going to have time to go through everything because we would have to set up the API call. This one, and let me paste the prompt in here. I'll scroll up. Let's even zoom it. So design a simple Power Automate flow that automatically updates. That's another nice thing, though, with LLMs is that should be updates. It'll still figure it out.
Yep.
Train progress for employees based on delivery dates in the spreadsheet. All right. The flow should trigger a status update email. That's the big one.
Okay. I see. We want a status update email based on all the stuff we generated without us having to generate it.
Exactly.
I love that.
And it's going to load this from the Excel spreadsheet.
Yes.
Now, what this should do for us is get us started.
Yes. We can then fine-tune, mess with it after the result. But we don't have to start from scratch because neither one of us actually like writing a status update email.
Not really.
No, not really. This is the thing we don't do. Everyone wants us to do it, but we don't do it.
As soon as I hop on the plane, that's the first thing I'm going to do.
That's exactly it.
You're going to get on the Wi-Fi and send a status update
email. We're like, and here's the status update email. Yeah.
So there we go.
Oh, look at this.
It's a recurring.
Okay.
All right, because we might schedule this every morning. You know,
don't send a status update every morning.
No, that's what they're for. All right, good point. Valid point. But notice it's going to list the rows present in the Excel.
Yes.
Loop over them.
Yeah.
Add a condition based on what we want to send, and then send an email.
I love this. I love this. So you can actually just schedule this to send a status update to us on the traction of our program. Probably once a week is a reasonable amount to see how we're doing.
And now I'd have to go through, obviously I need to tell it where's the Excel spreadsheet, what do we
send
want
the email
in
in Outlook, do the Outlook connector thing, etc.
All those things.
Yeah, I love it.
But that's the whole scenario. So we've now gone from, you and I talking about a generative AI course.
Right.
Using Microsoft Copilot.
Right.
And then we used what? Word
to write like a real strategy.
Yep.
PowerPoint to make the exact thing.
PowerPoint, Excel.
To track it.
And
now
Power
Automate to send a summary of how it went.
Yeah.
That is a full business.
We could do it. We could even, I'm not going to demo it full out, but I have it attached here. We could even come in, click on Copilot here and say, draft me an email based on that document.
That's right.
That we want to go out. And you can do the same type of thing.
I love it. Dan, I have learned so much about the Microsoft 365 Copilot that I did not know, a thing I wind up using every single day. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for all of us. Stay tuned for next time.